I am Hawaiian, or as they pronounce it in Arizona, suspicious. I had a woman come up to me after a show and she goes, I was in Hawaii one time. I was in this place called Kalali, Lali, 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 Lali. And she asked me, what does that mean again? Well, the way you pronounce it, it means, please take my purse. Funniest one, this guy goes up, how long have you lived in the States? You mean other than the one I was born and raised in? He got snippy, he got mad at me. Well, you know what I mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. But it's wrong. You can't say wrong stuff and blame me. What if I said to him, how long you been a woman? Long time? Oh, man, woman, it's just words, you know. I'm not familiar with your mainland semantics. I don't know. I love your Hawaiian pizzas. Because we Hawaiians are so famous for our Canadian bacon, you know. I grew up near the Canadian bacon trees of Oahu, and we'd climb up and knock the bacon off the branches. And you want a Hawaiian pizza? Put Spam on that bad boy. There's your Hawaiian pizza. Oh, many of you have been there. It's true, Hawaiians love Spam. I didn't realize till I moved away that nobody else does, you know. We love Spam and regular, not light. They have Spam light. Because if you're health conscious, you're probably shopping for Spam. Is this gluten-free? Is it? Spam light, it says in the can, it's low salt. You know what? Spam without salt is clay. My wife is great. My wife's from Texas. I married a Texan. And I remember when I proposed to her, I told her I'm from Hawaii and I sure would love to stay in this country. So, my kids have Hawaiian features, but they definitely have my wife's Irish Texas skin. So when we're in Hawaii and they're playing with their cousins, doesn't matter how far away, I know which two are mine, you know? Like a couple of Twinkies and a bowl of ding-dongs. It is very obvious. My culture is very important to me. You know, I grew up in Hawaii. It's a lot of who I am. So even though my kids are being raised in Seattle, I want them to be close to that culture. So I'm very proud to say that since she was 5, my daughter has danced the hula and she plays ukulele. And my son eats a lot and he's always late. So there you go. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. Get this, 20 Hawaiians came to see the show in Charlotte, North Carolina. 20. I was thinking, well, this must be Witness Protection Program. 20 people made that decision. I am sick of paradise. Honey, North Carolina. Pack it up. I'm tired of 80% humidity. Let's go for 97. Let's do this. If I see another rainbow, I'm gonna freak. 20, there are more Hawaiians in Charlotte, North Carolina than there were on 9 years of Magnum PI. Once again, for those of you under 40, it was a show in Hawaii with no Hawaiians. My buddy goes, have you seen that new Hawaii 5-0? There's a couple Hawaiians on there. Okay. But here's a secret. They're Korean. Only missed it by an ocean. You never see Hawaiians where they're supposed to be. You ever watch that Pearl Harbor movie? Apparently there were no Hawaiians in Hawaii during World War II. Looks like the Japanese attacked Idaho for some reason. What happened? You couldn't find one Hawaiian actor who could do this?
It's true. I've always been a little bit of a late learner. It comes with the territory. I'm originally from South Carolina. That deserves, yeah, thank you. That deserves a mild response. It is fine. When I was growing up, South Carolina was 49th in education. Yeah, we might have upgraded to 50th by now. I haven't checked the stats. Mostly because I don't know how. I'm just saying. Like, for example, I found out very late in life, like very late, that Alaska and Hawaii were not next to each other. Down here where they appeared to be at the bottom of the map. Yeah, nobody clarified that the map ran out of space and someone just slapped them down there. I thought that's where they lived. I went my merry little way. Just dumb as a clam. Until 7 years ago, I was hired by Alaska Airlines. Yeah, I was told I was going to be stationed in Anchorage, Alaska. And I was so excited because I'd always wanted to go to Hawaii. Yeah, I was like, what island do you think we'll be close to? Turns out, none of them. Spoiler alert for any other Carolinians in the room. I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I got the job. And apparently our maps are no good because Alaska and Hawaii are not off the coast of California. Yeah, she was like, did I drop you?
Last winter, my old girlfriend and I flew to Hawaii. I don't know if you guys know much about American history, but she explained to me that Hawaii is where they filmed the movie Pearl Harbor. If you haven't seen it, here's the plot. It's 1941, and an American nurse falls in love with two different pilots at the same time. And the acting and the dialogue and the story are so bad. Halfway through, the Japanese attack to try and stop the movie. And then someone or something put the DVD in the microwave.
We spent our 38th wedding anniversary in Maui. Yeah, anybody been to Maui? Yeah. You know those travel brochures? The ones with them cute Kenn and Barbies with those coconut bikini things going on, you know? They lie. Yeah. Everybody there looked like me. Yeah. Who knew that paradise was full of fat wops from New Jersey, you know? And when I'm on vacation, you know, I want to do what I want to do. I want to do what I'm good at. Nothing, you know? My wife wants to do stuff. Let's go on a helicopter ride and tour the volcano. Has anybody done this? The first thing they do is they show you a safety video, right? So you can learn how to unlock the helicopter door. Which is good to know when you're over a volcano. Then they ask you this list of questions, right? The last question is, how much do you weigh? I told him, I have no problem. But then my wife lies by 20 pounds. I'm like, this is the moment you want to do this? You're lying about your weight now? And I didn't say it out loud, it was the eyes. I was like, really? And she's looking back at me with the evil eye going, don't you dare tell him. Don't you dare tell him how much I weigh. And then it dawned on me. There were 4 other women on this flight with us. What if they're all lying about their weight? There was one woman, she had to weigh 210, 220. I know she's coming in low, you know? So I'm like, excuse me, I want to change my answer. I weigh 500 pounds. because I don't want to get sacrificed to Pele the volcano god. Because these women don't want Captain Bob to think we're fat. That was day 1. You know what we did on day 2? The bike ride. It wasn't enough that we could see the volcano from the air. We had to go up there and be dropped off with a bicycle at sunrise, right? I don't do bicycle, right? I'm not balancing this on a bike. So we're up there at 4:30 in the morning. They drop us off with 1,000 other people and bicycles, right? We get to watch the sun come up. Woohoo! Then we have to bike back down from the volcano. Yeah. 37 miles. My wife's like, oh, it's okay, honey, it's downhill. It's 37 miles. Now let me tell you something, folks. A 280-pound man doesn't go down from the volcano at the same speed as a 120-pound woman. I got there 4 hours before she did. That was day 2. You know what we did on day 3? Look at me. Really look at me. Is there anything about me that says snorkeler? If you've never been to Hawaii, let me give you a little bit of advice. Never ask for directions, right? Oh, first you go down the Halikali Malifali Funicula Street. Then turn right on Malahini Fukuhumi. Like, hey, sport, this is America. Name your streets after something Spanish.
But I'm not, I'm Polynesian. That's my Hawaiian name, I'm Hawaiian. My Hawaiian name's in the middle, which is Kamakana Ki'ili Aloha, which means winds that carry love from one to another. That's what my name means. Yeah, you say, oh. I had to explain this to my Marine Corps drill instructor. That was a very awkward moment. Because he seen my name, he was like, oh, Peabody, come back here. What's all these K's? I was like, oh, sir, that's my Hawaiian name. He said, well, what is it? I said, it's Kamakana Ki'ili Aloha. What? How many letters? 18, sir. Then he asked me, he says, what does it mean? I know all these Polynesian names mean something. And I tried, for the life of me, to come up with something like man will rip off ears if asked too many questions. Something manly. This is my Marine Corps drill instructor looking at me in the face, and I couldn't help it. I just looked him straight in the face, and it came out nice and fluffy. Looked him right in his face. I said, winds that carry love from one to another, sir. And this was back in the Clinton era, so he was like, oh, don't ask, don't tell. Get on the bus. Go ahead. Get on the bus.
I went to Hawaii recently on vacation. Make some noise if you ever been to Hawaii. Anybody here? I loved it. And I went to Hawaii on vacation. I'd never been. I went down to the beach, white sand beaches, and you could swim with sea turtles. Nobody told me that. It was beautiful. It was majestic. I honestly feel like it kind of changed my life. It was that beautiful. But there was the only thing that ruined it was that the government in Hawaii, anywhere that you could swim with sea turtles, has had to put up signs. And those signs read simply, please do not touch or ride the sea turtles. First of all, I had never even considered it till you mentioned it. Second, those signs probably used to just read, please do not touch the sea turtles. Oh, and we made them get more specific, didn't we? That seems like a second or third generation sign. Like, I don't know how much better we can phrase it. Just some guy arguing with his wife on the beach, like, no, Camille. If God didn't want us to ride him, why'd he build those sweet saddles on their backs then? Yeah. Checkmate. I'm gonna be a sea cowboy and you can't stop me this time. My favorite thing about those signs, people from all over the world vacation in Hawaii. It is an international tourist destination, but those signs, only written in English. Oh yeah, Provo, that's just an American problem. Maybe us and like 3 confused, rude Canadians, but that's it. We're the only people on Earth that would go down to the beach on vacation, look an endangered animal in the face and go, hey! I'm gonna ride the heck out of you. Oh yeah. Just tame him, just like, shh. I'm gonna tame you. You also know why I think that's an American problem? Because I think we're the only country dumb enough to ride an animal slower than we are. That is a privileged problem, right? Be like, just on his back going nowhere? Well, I don't have anywhere to be, neither does he, man. We're kindred spirits. Yeah. Man, at this rate, I'll make it back to Alabama in roughly 3,000 years. This is gonna be good.
Dang. But I like traveling too. Like, one of my favorite places, I just got home from Kauai. That's great. Have you been there? Oh, my goodness gracious. Best vacation I've ever had. And, but it's weird, you know, because one of the things I really like about Kauai is kind of cute. The little chickens everywhere. You see that? Just chickens running around. And then you see them like dead on the side of the road. You know? But actually, that's the kind of roadkill I can handle. You know, it's not like you're in the South. It's a squirrel, you know? It's a chicken. They got their own KFC right there. Kauai's freaking chickens. I can handle that, you know? Just get a chicken, you know, fresh right off the grill of your car. Hey, there you go. Save $6. Oh, but when I was down there, I wanted to go running because I like to run. So I wanted to go run on the beach, you know, but I didn't because I was drinking a lot. And makes it hard. I'm a runner. Do we have any runners in the audience? Runners? Yeah? What do you do? Marathon? Huh? Run. Sweet. You're like a truck driver. What do you do? Drive truck. I do. I enjoy running. I'm not in good shape right now because I only run like a few months out of the year to train for like a marathon or, well, half marathon or something like that because I get really fat in the off season and gain tons of weight. But this is what I do. So when we start back up, we start back in the wintertime. So we just started to back up, you know, we run in a park, you know, and I run with this group called the Huntsman Hometown Heroes. And what we do is, we run these races, and while we're training, we raise money for cancer research for the Huntsman Cancer Foundation. So yeah, that's really cool. They're a great group. Check them out. Check them out. They do some great things. But what we do is we meet in a park every Saturday morning, and we run in the park. And so when we're there, we wear our jerseys, our Huntsman Hometown Hero jerseys. And so last weekend we're in the park and we're running, you know, and I can hear clapping. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. People, you know, see us, they see our jerseys, they're like, way to go, good for you. So we get outside of the park and we're running for about a mile or so, and, you know, I still hear the clapping. And I look around and I realize that it was my butt.
Here's one of the dumbest things I ever did. Anybody ever done the Haleakala downhill in Maui? I was in the island of Maui, worked with a friend, shows at a friend, right? He says, let's do this thing called the Haleakala downhill. Now, the Haleakala is a dormant volcano on the island of Maui, and there's a road that curls up 32 miles. It is steep. And you get up there and you're flying down this mountain. And let me tell you this, before I tell you this, since I was about 11, I always wanted to own a motorcycle. Now on with the story. So, you're flying down this mountain, and you're looking at the scenery, and you're glancing at the road, and looking at the scenery, and glancing at the road, and I realized, too late, that I should be glancing at the scenery and looking at the road. Last thing I remember, there was this little chunk of loose tar. And I hit that tar, and next thing you know, I was airborne. I slid, flew, skidded, probably almost the width of this room. I get done, the bike frame is cracked, my helmet's shattered, I got road rash down the entire left side of my body, right? My friend Larry comes ripping back up the mountain, he goes, wow. He goes, that was like a bad accident. I said, I know, I was in it. You should be a detective. So in some way to console me, he goes, well, you know what, man? Maybe that's God's way of telling you not to get a motorcycle. And I'm thinking, he could have sent a card.
Oh my goodness, this is again gonna be worth it. If you're single, this one alone is worth it. My wife and I, 10-year anniversary, went to Hawaii. I learned a word in Hawaii, aloha. Do you know what that word means? It means hello and do you know what else it means? I love you. Yes, that's it. Talk about the perfect word for the end of a first date.
Aloha. You figure it out.
Great.
And we went to Hawaii recently. I found out the word for appetizer in Hawaii is poo-poo. I didn't realize that till I went shopping when I went to dinner. And the waiter said, sir, would you like to start off the evening with some hot steaming poo-poo? Well, we don't eat poo-poo where I'm from. Especially when it's hot.
First time I flew to Alaska, like 25 years ago, I flew from Seattle to Anchorage. I had this bonehead sitting next to me. He's talking to me. He goes, you ever been to Hawaii? I've been there a couple of times. He goes, I've never been to Hawaii. In fact, we land in Anchorage. I'll be the closest I've ever been to Hawaii. What makes you think we can fly 3.5 hours north of Seattle, be closer to Hawaii? Ever look at a map? But I think the problem is every map of the United States you've ever seen, it's the lower 48, right in the corner, Hawaii and Alaska. It took you a minute, but you got it, and I appreciate it.